Christina Pulver with Forza One Volleyball, and I'm sitting with head coach Don Sullivan and assistant coach Ariel. Pronounce your last name, please.
Apolinario.
Apolinario, love it. At University in Las Vegas, Nevada. So thank you so much for joining us today. We're really looking forward to getting to know more about your program and you as a staff.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no. So how are you guys doing? How's everyone? How's the team? How are you staying connected right now, mentally and physically, with everyone?
Yeah, for us, I actually think, the first week was a little bit different, right? Because we're all trying to adjust. But as of late, I think we've kind of hit our stride, and we try to keep a similar schedule as we had before. So we wake up every morning and we do Zoom calls, kind of like this, a little mental warm up with some breathing, intention, gratitude. And then we finish with a positive affirmation. So this is something we do before every practice. And so we wanted to keep that going for them. And then the NCAA took away, we used to be able to do virtual workouts with them, and the NCAA took that away from us. And so our team chose to continue to do that on their own. And so that's been pretty incredible for them, just to kind of, they said that's one of the things they felt most connected when they do that. And so that was really fun to hear. So we do that every morning, and then we finish the night every night with, we send them like a Rebel Advantage form, just so they can kind of fill it out and we can gauge, is there any red flags that we need to be aware of? So those are some things we do daily. We also meet like Tuesday, Thursdays, just on another call. We talk actually about the book Legacy. I don't know if you guys have ever, but it's a really good book. So we do that every Tuesday, and the team actually runs that. And again, that's something we were doing before. So it kind of just went into this space pretty comfortably, I guess. And then on Thursdays, Ariel actually kind of picks out a speaker that kind of comes and talks with our group. It's been some alumni. We had a cooking session last week, just some people that are really going to support our team. And they kind of chat with them, but also it's just a time for us to get to know each other. And so I think we did like show and tell one time. So they got to kind of showcase, themselves a little bit and just share part of their lives with us. So some other things, Ariel, do you have anything else that's kind of worked for you?
No, I think that that was great. Just the biggest takeaway, it's just like that first week, just not knowing, just trying to figure it out how we wanted things to look like. But we just kind of sat down and talked about it, and we just keep in the same schedule. I think that the biggest thing, as everybody else, is the human interaction. We don't have that anymore. And just trying to figure it out week by week, just trying to get a little bit better doing the things that we were doing before. But our schedule didn't really change. And our girls, they felt in control. They felt in control. That was the coolest part, that we're still doing a lot of the same things that we were doing before whenever we had the opportunity to have that human interaction.
Very cool. I love that.
One other piece actually I've grown to really appreciate and love is just sort of my film time with the players. So I do that weekly. Each of us do that weekly, but I put a little bit more on them, and that they come into those film sessions with some things to show me. And it's been really eye-opening just to kind of see, how are they seeing the game, and just kind of let them lead it a little bit, which has been really fun. So.
Yeah, and we all learn in such different ways.
We do.
And we see ourselves in such different ways. So that's really interesting that you put that on them to kind of bring, and I don't know if it's, maybe, I'm sure depending on the week, something they feel really good about or something they feel they need to work on, but that's interesting to put that into their hands, and then you can learn a lot about the way they, I think, comprehend and view themselves as well.
Yeah, usually there's a focus. They kind of know what they're going at, but just find some good plays and maybe some ones they can do better. So
awesome. Well, you both come from some really interesting and fun volleyball backgrounds. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about your coaching past and how you both ended up at UNLV?
Yeah. You want me to start, Ariel?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll take it, yeah. So I'm originally from Minnesota, small town girl. Actually, I grew up in the country, not really by anybody. And I was very fortunate to go to Kansas State to play volleyball. And so I played 4 years there. I played 1 year professionally once I was done with college ball. And to be honest, so I was married at that time. And my purpose and the values, they didn't really line up anymore playing professionally as they maybe did when I was, in college. I value maybe a little bit different than what the professional world did. And so for me, that was a time to kind of get back into coaching and just get back. For me, I really want to build people up and strong, confident women. And coaching was the way to do that for me. Playing at that point wasn't really allowing me to do that anymore. And so it didn't fuel me as much as coaching did. And so, yeah, so then I got into coaching and just kind of slowly found my way this way. So I coached in Illinois State for 3 years, and then Iowa State for 13. And then I came here 3 years ago, right? But I've always kind of made those moves based on people. I think those relationships are always important to me, and I felt like this is a place that really had that and could become great, I guess. So, Carol, you want to take it?
Yeah, for sure. My path, it was a little bit different. Just growing up in Cuba, I actually played basketball and baseball. I never thought about playing volleyball before, but we went to a school that it was all athletes. So we kind of had the opportunity to play different sports, just no organized sport. But definitely baseball and basketball kind of took away pretty much all my time. I moved here from the state when I was a sophomore in high school. Then I started playing volleyball just for the heck of it. And then just that love started growing a little bit more and just kind of interacting with people. And I was able to see every week some type of development and definitely that passion that I was referring to before. Just randomly, out of nowhere, there was a coach from Kansas. That's the first school that I went to, Newman University, Division II in Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. Saw me, came over. We tried to have a conversation, but at that time I couldn't speak the language. So I actually signed my letter of intent through a translator at that time. I was scared to death, but looking back in time, probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, just going away from Miami, the craziness, you didn't really have to speak the language in order for you to thrive. So I got the opportunity. I was there for 2 years. It was probably one of the best things I ever did, just going away from Miami. Then very successful program. The program got dropped due to financial resources. As we already know, men's volleyball, especially in that side of the country, traveling and whatnot is expensive. So they decided to drop the program. And then I went with a couple of my friends to a school in Tennessee, King University. So my why at that time, it was either go with my friends and kind of start a new program or just try to find one of the better programs in the country at that time. And definitely I went with my friends and I started to kind of build in that program and kind of like make sure that we left it at a better place. And it was a great decision. 2 of my best friends today are part of that program. So definitely that was one of my biggest takeaway, 2 of my best friends today. So that was a little bit of my college days. So after that, I got the opportunity to just travel with Bring It USA. But at that time, I always wanted to coach, to make an impact in people, just to be around people. And I decided to coach right away. And so I went to a very small school in Tennessee. And then just, from one thing to the next, I went from S&P, I went to Ohio University, then Rice University in Texas, and now UNLV. At that time, it just made sense professionally. So that's why I made those moves. But definitely one of the coolest things, looking back in perspective, is that everybody in a way or another was able to be successful. So that's been pretty cool, kind of looking back in perspective.
Yeah, no, and you both of you been at UNLV a relatively short amount of time and have done a tremendous job with really uplifting the program. What aspects of your coaching philosophies do you think really have contributed most to the success that you've had so far in such a short amount of time?
Yeah, I would probably just say we're about people. I think when you're about people, you have the right intentions, and when we're looking to build people, that's what it's about. When you're about the wins and losses, I think you tend to lose things in that process. So I think if you keep your focus on the right area and you know where you're going, then things tend to turn out.
Yeah, no, I love that. And most of our athletes have had the opportunity are very familiar with Las Vegas and are getting to know, your school more and more. And so let's talk a little bit about UNLV as an institution. First, maybe on academics. What type of a student fits in well at the UNLV campus? Dawn, if you want to answer that one.
Yeah, I think, well, it's a great university, for one. I think it has, our hospitality program is the #1 program in the nation. Our business programs, there's a lot of top-notch programs here, nursing. As far as the type of students that fits here, diversity is really important to this campus. And so that diversity piece, someone that's willing to kind of think outside the box and be innovative, I think that person fits here. And then just that gritty, that person that's going to work hard. I think that's the type of kid I think will be successful here at UNLV.
Yeah, and it's interesting. It's in a setting where, I think some parents might be, concerned because they know that the casino and gambling side, but I think people that have visited your campus see that it's definitely, you get that college campus feel. So, let's talk a little bit about that. Like when the students there at UNLV, are they, how are they spending their time maybe when they're not doing academics and volleyball?
Well, I think that's what's so unique about UNLV is like when you step on campus, there's places you don't even feel like you're in Las Vegas. It's so unique that way. There's green grass and trees. And I remember the first time I walked in campus and they took me to the spot and they kind of just turned me around and were like, okay, where's the strip? And I was like, I have absolutely no idea, because it feels like you're in a whole different world, even though you're only like a mile from the strip, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what draws people to UNLV, is that it has that special uniqueness to it, that you kind of get best of both worlds. You get this big city full of opportunity, right? With every profession, top notch, coming to to Las Vegas for conventions or whatnot. And so we have a lot of those relationships. But it also, and then it has the shopping and the food and all that wonderful stuff, right? But it also has this really unique university very close to it. That has this small feel, or a little bit smaller feel, right? That is safe and it's enclosed, and it's just a pretty unique place to be a part of,
Yeah, and in 15 minutes you can be hiking on beautiful mountains.
Yeah.
Joshua Tree, even Grand Canyon are all very drivable. So yeah, I think there are maybe some misconceptions of what UNLV is as a college. And I think you're both doing a great job of really, talking about that it's more about the person and the environment and the diversity that it has to offer. So yeah, in terms of, the volleyball program itself, I'd like to talk about what you do in terms of the mental health balance of, your athletes that are playing at a very high level, you're at a tough conference, and they're managing the social, the academics. What do you do? What are maybe some mental health initiatives or some help that you provide the athletes at UNLV?
You want me to take this here?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. We actually focus on that quite a bit. One thing that we are very fortunate to have is our athletic director, Desiree. When she came on, that was one of her biggest pushes, is this whole rebel, right? And so she was able to hire a nutritionist, a sports psychologist, many people just around to support the student athlete as a person and not just as the athlete, right? And so every morning, like I said, we do that mental warm up. I think that for one, just allows them to get to know who they are as an individual and what they think as an individual. So we do that every day. They finish with a positive affirmation. I think that's the biggest piece, is can you build yourself up? We do a lot of journaling with our team, so can they have a place to just put their thoughts, again, form their own opinion of what they and who they are going to be, and before someone else tells them who they are going to be, right? The sports psychologist will meet with our team periodically. They're also able to go meet with them as often as they want. I think every individual is different in what works for them in that realm. But we do want to always show them that they have a plethora of support around them, in whichever area it is. Yeah, Ariel, do you have anything to add on to that?
No, that was right on point. I think they just, at times people want to bring others from the outside, but one of the biggest thing about UNLV, that we have that resource at the school. Like, we don't feel the need to go outside to bring somebody else. And it's been one of the biggest thing about being here in this situation, by just the fact that we have that resource it's a phone call away, and it's one text away. So that's the girls have responded very, very well to her, and it's just the fact that they have the platform that conversation doesn't have to get to us unless something major happens. Then we kind of, hey, just a heads up. But even at the end of the day, we still don't know what they really talk about. So just the fact that they have somebody that they can relate to other than just the coaches. And as we already know, just the mental piece, is so critical at the highest level, and we can say that we have it, and we have it here. We don't need to go and hire anybody or spend money bringing somebody to the program. We have it here.
Yeah, that's great. And your facilities are beautiful. Talking about, and maybe this goes directly to like the AD and you, as a staff looking at the people, but you really provide a culture in the athletic department as a whole that's very tight knit and interlacing. And in talking with some, players that have played there before, like they really are very proud of the teams and really support each other. Why don't you talk a little bit about the interminglings of the athletes?
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that it makes it so unique, right? And that's the first event I went to when I got here, they have a talent show, I guess you would kind of call it, but the athletes put it on, right? It's not us putting it on. And I went up to it and I was just blown away. And the way they support each other. So every sport kind of goes up there and they have to present. And one group got up there and I was like, oh no, right? Like maybe, okay, let's try something different. But this was the whole athletic, all the student athletes, they stood up and they started like clapping and cheering this person on. And I was blown away with how they support each other. And I just think that's, it's that diversity piece that we're willing to be open and just listen to each other and support each other no matter, we're all different and that's okay. And I think that's so true, about UNLV is just that close knit bond. So we're very proud.
That's awesome. Talk a little bit about the strength training, conditioning, injury prevention. You guys are on the road. You have a really rigorous season. What does that look like?
Yeah. We just hired actually a new strength conditioning coach, which he's been great. So we work with him every day, essentially, and then we have an athletic trainer, and she's phenomenal as well. As we work with them both the daily. We put together a schedule that they're going to be well supported. So Krista, our athletic trainer, she checks in with them daily right now. Just make sure they're stretching, getting anything they may need as far as that goes. And I've actually been kind of surprised, like even from afar, they've needed a lot of like stretching or, you wouldn't think they would have a whole lot going on right now. Well, not that they don't, they're working their butts off right now. Yeah. So it's like, she's just helping them kind of take the right steps needed so they're ready to go when they come back. Yeah. And same thing with Peter, our strength conditioning coach. And so I think we just have some people around our program that love what it is and they know the direction we want to go and they're willing to kind of do anything necessary to get there and keep them healthy on that way. And so, in the fall we lift about twice a week. And then the spring and the summer is when we kind of ramp it up a little bit and we go 3 or 4 times a week. We always finish the week with the competition Friday. I think that's just a fun way to kind of keep that competitive side to you instead of just kind of going through the same routine. And so try to find different ways to keep them engaged, but also keep them healthy and moving in the right direction.
Yeah. And I know spring season is definitely typically a time where you're getting a lot more one-on-one and really heavy, training. So it sounds like you guys are doing everything you can to keep it as consistent as possible. So let's talk about in season. Do you end up busing most places? Do you fly? Tell us a little bit about the travel schedule in season.
It's something we're very fortunate. Las Vegas, like I said, it's a wonderful city. We have an airport 5 minutes away. That's an international airport, so we can fly anywhere direct. And so we don't drive a whole lot. We fly just because we can get places pretty cheap. And so, we'll kind of charter bus into the airport and then we'll take off, go from there, fly direct. We land. So in season, typically we play Thursday, Saturday. And so we leave Wednesday after classes are done. We'd fly out. Thursday, we'd practice a little bit in wherever we travel to, right? And then play that night. And then Friday, we travel to the next site and then play Saturday and then come home that night. One incredible thing about UNLV is We normally don't have class on Friday unless you're a math major. But otherwise, we don't have class on Friday. So our student athletes are only missing on, that Thursday, where most other programs are missing both that Thursday and Friday.
Mhm.
So we're very fortunate that way.
That's huge. I mean, I've been talking to a lot of different college coaches, and that it really differentiates you. Also too, just the fact that you're not in a bus for 8 hours or leaving. I mean, so many programs finish their match at 9 o'clock and get in the car and they're getting back to campus at 4 a.m. I mean, that is a reality. And I think until you're living that reality as a freshman and seeing what it's like, that is a huge benefit.
It's huge. It is.
Yeah.
Even to get home that Saturday night, right? Instead of spending all day Sunday afterwards, and then all of a sudden you have to get back up again on Monday and go again. It just gives you some time to relax.
Are there any majors you feel are a little too tough to be in at UNLV?
Ariel works a lot with academics. Do you want to take this one, Ariel?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, we work around the student, and we spend many hours talking about their needs, and at the end of the day, the bottom line is we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that they are successful. But I don't think it's just at UNLV, but I think it's universal. Like anything with nursing, anything with science is always going to be tough just because you have to spend extra time with labs and whatnot. And then just really spending more time than the normal student athlete would at a regular, I don't know, maybe is education type of program, but for the most part, there's really no limitations here, and at the end of the day, we will do everything that we can. For example, going into this semester, fall semester, we are anticipating a couple of kids that they probably are going to either be late to practice or there are some days they're going to be able to make it whenever the team is in session. And just because that's the only time that they provide that class. It doesn't happen every semester, but there's always going to be that case. And when it happens, then we're going to be real to our work. We always spend time with the family. Hey, it is about you, and we're going to do everything that we can. So that's just a prime example to really showcase that, hey, we do care about you. And whenever we say it's about the student athlete, we mean it. So, but I don't think there's any limitations, and that's the honest truth. And at the end of the day, we're going to do what we can to make it work. Yeah.
Well, that's great. And you have a lot of majors at your school. So I think, most kids can find what they're looking for on your academic list. Let's talk about life after college. A very small percentage of athletes go on to play internationally. How does UNLV prepare the athletes for that next step in their journey?
Yeah, that's another position our athletic director hired when she got hired on here right before us. She hired someone specifically for that position to work with the student athletes to find them a job as soon as they're done. Awesome. And has really built that relationship within that community and with the individuals, so that's ready for them. I think when we first, the numbers weren't that great, I would say probably 5 years ago, and with our new athletic director and with Mallory, who is our sports supervisor, that's who runs that program. So we it's nice we have a little close connection with her. But our student athletes can go in there and they can write their resume, right? They can go through short interviews with people. They have a lot of different services for them.
That's phenomenal. That's really unique. So generally speaking, let's switch gears a little bit. In terms of, right now, where there's a lot of different recruiting rules and overall, philosophies changing in the recruiting world. What do you both think about the new rule that went into place this last season for players?
Are you talking about the one that kind of delays till the June 15th?
Yes.
I'll take this. I think it's good in a way. I think it allows the prospective student athlete to have some time to figure out themselves a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think only time will tell, because these athletes also could use this time if they wanted to, right, to still come to campus and figure some of these out, some of these things out of what they like and don't like. And so I feel like they could feel a little bit rushed once that date comes. It's like, oh wow, now I have to go do it all, instead of maybe using some of this time, even though we couldn't interact with them, to still go on campuses and figure some of those items out. They're like the big campus, small campus, big city. So I hope that they're still doing that, is probably my hope. But I can see it both ways, is what I'll say. But I think it does allow them to have a little time, if they want to take advantage of that, to figure some of those things out before all of a sudden we come
Yeah.
communicating with them all the time. So.
Yeah, I think we're really, we would love to just see that the transfer rate go way down. And I think, helping recruits understand that they're the driver. It's their job to really too, like, present themselves with their own, lots of options. And you don't really know what your options are until you really understand what you want, I think, in a lot of ways. And so, things like this, calls, looking at all the virtual tours. I mean, that's one positive thing that's come out of all this is I think everyone's putting up some pretty amazing virtual tours and get to know me types of, calls like this, so players can feel like they are the driver. But yeah, I think too, like challenging, players in general, how do you stand out as a leader? How do you stand out as a D1 athlete? Maybe you both have worked around a lot of high level athletes. What are some common attributes you see in successful high-level athletes?
Some things I see is just this grittiness, someone that's really not willing to quit. And typically that comes from some sort of adversity they've been through, or have they been able to fight through something? I even look back at my own career, and I wasn't given a whole lot in my life, and I had to fight for everything I wanted, even to get to play at the Division I level. I think it took me a lot of steps to get there. And even when I got there, I didn't ever feel like I was very good, and you find ways, right? Those people that really going to step and be above and kind of be that leader, they're willing to kind of always look and be curious and be a learner and just kind of fight for things they really have a passion for.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, it's interesting how social media is playing a role in us getting to know each other these days, right? You can tell a lot about someone, and maybe not a lot about someone with the way they post or the way they interact and different things they're putting up. But, it's definitely a challenge. And the more, I think conversations everyone can have with players that have been through it, with alumni. That's kind of my next thing I want to start doing is, having more alumni get on these one-on-one conversations and share their own personal experiences. But it really stands out that your staff is really cares about the person as a whole. And I think, UNLV really provides that well-rounded experience for a college athlete. Is there anything else that we haven't covered on that you'd like to make sure people know and understand about UNLV and why someone would choose UNLV as their top choice?
For us, I think it's just always about the process. Can we get 1% better every day? I think we talk about that a lot. And I think we have a pretty unique culture, and it's something that our team has built, and I'm very proud of them for what they've done there. But I think we're building something great here, and it's fun to be a part of. It's fun to see the players kind of take ownership of some things and run with it. And I think that's when they can take it, that's when you'll really kind of step into the next level. But it's how their behaviors, they do day in and day out that allow for that, them being kind of fulfilling a lot of the values we talk about, being about family and hard work and just serving others, and enjoying what we do. So I think a lot of that is about who we are and can we live that every day. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you. Thank you both. I don't know if Ariel, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, just in regards to that, it just building takes time, and any relationship that we are part of, it just takes time to get it right, and I think that from us to you guys and from you guys to us, there needs to be a connection. It needs to be bigger than just let's go to school, let's just it's right there, it's driving distance, whatever that why is for each person. I think at the end of the day, it's about connecting. And if you can't connect with people, then at some point you probably struggle, So I think whatever that is for the person itself, I think that it needs to be some type of connection. That human connection needs to be real.
Yeah. No, I love it.
I actually have a video. I don't know if you're willing to let me kind of share that via the screen. Would that work?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just take it over. Does that work?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. That way they can learn just a little bit about UNLV. And I think this really showcases it well. So.
Great.
All right. I'll just let it kind of play here.
Great. Thank you.
So that's a wonderful strip.
Amazing.
And that's our law business.
Okay.
And this is our union. So this is where they kind of hang out.
Mm-hmm.
The Running Rebels, we love them.
Love it.
We just hired a new football coach this last year that they're going to play in the Raider Stadium. So that'll be really fun for our
No
group.
way. That's awesome.
This here is our new dining with all of our student athletes. They can eat their meals together on campus.
Okay.
That's where we play.
Okay. Very cool. Oh wow, that's nice.
Famous Hey Reb.
I love it.
Yeah, I just thought that does a really nice job showcasing.
That was awesome. Thank you. Definitely.
Oh, hold on, I got to stop the background.
Yeah. No.
There we go.
Wow,
Yeah,
guys. No, that was great. I love the visual right there. There it is.
there it is.
Beautiful.
But yeah, there's a lot online. If they want to go take a look, UNLV is a great place, and it's like Ariel said, and I said earlier, it's always about the people. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, both of you, for taking the time today. Very excited. We'll look forward to getting some players out there.
Awesome.
Thank you
Okay.
for having
Thanks
us.
for having us. Yeah.
Thank you.